definitely put a stake in the ground and are attracting some unbelievable interest. I know we've been on a few earlier presentations talking about early adopter programs, and that's really what I'm referring to. And I'd like to, if you could, give me a few minutes just to talk about the market. I'll share my screen, bring up a quick deck, and then I want to really illustrate why we're getting the traction that we're getting right now, because I think you'll see it. Can you see the screen okay? I can, unfortunately.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see. Okay. I see it. And if you just want to go to a full slide, full
okay.
screen, full whatever.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Did it say market?
I'll disappear. Okay.
So we're good. Okay. So I shared this slide in one of our first introductions, but this is super critical because it speaks to how we are going to literally disrupt this market. What you're looking at here is the technologies that are being used currently inside what they refer to as the PLAN market. That's the positioning, localization, and navigation market. And this is for indoor navigation. So these are sporting venues, hospitals, airports, shopping malls, all forms of retail. We talked earlier, you guys talked a little bit earlier about retail, museums, exhibits, and even trade shows. And today, there's roughly about, I'll just call it loosely, $30 billion being spent on a variety of very expensive and difficult technologies that really do nothing more than provide navigation or wayfinding indoors. And of course, what's really exciting about all this is because we've become so used to Google Maps, Apple Maps, Waze, and other smartphone-enabled mapping, we don't even think about it anymore. We just bring up a map and it guides us. And so when we looked at our technology and how it could fit specifically into this segment, it became very clear that we could totally disrupt this space. Our platform, which is an app, a web portal, and an SDK, it's a complete no-code spatial computing platform for the real-world metaverse, allows any operator of a property with no capital expense, zero, to go in and literally turn their existing airspace into, for lack of a better term, a rental opportunity. And it sounds a bit nutty, but bear with me. You can go in and you can use your smartphone to create a spatial point cloud. You can put it onto our web studio, happens automatically. You can then create all the locations and touring and navigations that all those prior technologies showed you. But you can do it at roughly 1/100th of a cost. So the fact that there's zero upfront hardware installation and no need to maintain that hardware is just at the beginning an amazing opportunity for us. That's why we're getting so much interest in so many early adopters. But the truth of it is that's just the start, and this is why we will dominate this market. When you think about the fact that you can go in now and create a spatial point cloud within a property's space, first of all, the wayfinding is helpful for the natural outcome of leading you to where you want to go. But what do property owners want? More times than not, they want the rental space or they want to make money within the confines of their building. And so in the world of spatial computing and the metaverse, we can add all forms of 3D interactions, sponsorship, banner activations, and all forms of AR, augmented reality. So we take our AR-tized 3D capability, weave it now into the metaverse, and we can provide a full-on opportunity to monetize that airspace. And then the final piece in all of this is that we're able to use location intelligence and analytics to better understand how to serve that market. And so we have literally just been sort of softly introducing this. Remember, Nextep has hundreds of clients in the 3D AR world. We also have hundreds within the events and trade show space. So it's easy for us to reach out to our existing customer base and socialize and gain insights into this. So we've been doing that for quite a while, and it's worked out phenomenally well. But what we've landed on is a totally disruptive technology into a market that at the moment has nothing to really compare with. So we can produce the meta maps, we can produce the spatials, and we can produce the location intelligence and the analytics from this whole piece. So how big is this market? Jack, if you think about it right now, our buyers are the operators of the properties that you see here. So you've got everything from retail to stadiums to museums to hospitals, casinos, cruise ships, etc., all the way down the line. Our pricing model and the way we step into this is it's a freemium to start and you move up the grade to premium. And at an average price point of about $15,000 per annum, we've easily got over 1 million ideal customer profiles that we can target. And so that's literally where we're starting. And it's getting super exciting for us. So let me just give you a quick example. Can you guys hear me okay? Still going? I'm gonna go with yes.
Paul, we hear you, yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry, guys. If you look out the back, the buildings behind me, this is this building, literally right behind our office. You go to their website, you can see this floor plan. Our technology will allow you to go into their space and walk through their environment and actually take a complete video scan of their lobby. So on the left, you can see it. It will produce a three-dimensional point cloud, these green dots that you're seeing. And this you can do right now. Take our app, download it, walk into any location, and make a spatial map. As you're making that map, it's ingesting into our web studio. And that web studio will create a visualization of what I'm basically capturing right here. Once I've got that, I can take a floor plan, like I just copied from their website. I can put it into our studio, and I can lay these point clouds over top of it. I can then take that studio, and I can all these orange pins represent locations that are available. So this is basically us completely disrupting the need for Bluetooth, for RFIDs, and all this other cacophony of technologies. And then if I really want to, I can sit there and I can put together a tour. I can start at this door and I can literally drag over an end spot to here. I can give it a name, in this case, shopping and dining. And then I can go in and I can add along that tour any type of content that I want. And then when I'm done, I can press a button and it will basically publish an experience. And I just want to remind everybody, this was done yesterday in about an hour, and there was no coding involved. So this is Hannah. She works with us. She's coming into this environment. She's placing spatially a 3D module. She's walking into where you guys saw that start point. She's picking, in this case, Jacked Up Coffee, one of the coffee shops in the mall. She's selecting it, and now a path will come up. We've anchored a little hologram to show her to say hi, and on her way, it's spatially anchored. You can see some of our 3D content there, and it's going to guide her right over to the coffee shop. And oftentimes what we're seeing here is that our users are basically doing just this. They want a quick hit navigation to get them to a specific location. If we want a wayfind, so in this case, we're going to go look for shopping and dining, we can basically select that. It can tell us how many steps away we are, and you can see in real time that it's actually going in and collecting the number of steps that we're taking. You can see the other anchored objects floating around, and you can see chevrons show up to tell you to turn left, turn right, go this way. It's got all the reinforcement you need to basically guide you along that path. There's one of our 3D objects, and now as I walk through, and we have no real limit to the size of mapping and navigation that we can produce. And everything I'm showing you right now was all done without any coding. And that's a huge benefit. Even if I want to leave the physical premise, the indoor of the building, I can simply walk out and we can still anchor and publish content. Very, very simple. And so it's an incredibly powerful tool to do wayfinding, navigation, and we call spatial or AR activations in the metaverse. Very useful. The final thing I'll show you is one of the things that we are releasing is a location intelligence analytics engine. And this will come out through July as we point release our platform. But this, when we've shown this to our early adopters, this has been complete gold for them. We're able to basically measure and track inside their building all the activation and usage around the experience. And so we know hotspots and heating areas of where people travel to, how much they interact, how long they've spent there, what their dwell times are. And this, from an advertising, a branding, and even just a positioning of where to place stuff within their building, has been a huge demand for them. So Jack, it's with these types of capabilities right out of the get-go, I'll stop sharing and we can start talking, that we are seeing enormous interest right now from our early adopter market.
Paul, I think that was fascinating. I think it's important for our audience to understand that if you think about technology that goes viral or that really takes off, like YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, or those platforms, what is the secret ingredient? The secret ingredient is their creator platforms, right? That's the thing that's the common denominator on all of them, right? Like the creator, even Facebook, right? That was like maybe the first big one, right? So now this platform, you can't totally tell because you had Hannah there, but imagine the entire YouTube community, the entire TikTok community adopting this technology. That's what this is, right? It's a creator.
Oh, I get it. Hold on a sec. Wait,
a little bit, Paul.
So, wait. So you're saying that that basically this can go viral because now anybody can create their own map. Let's say, I don't know, in a museum, for example, right? In the Louvre, or in a, I don't know, casino, whatever it is. Huge spaces, right? Places that are 100,000, 1,000,000 square feet. People create their own tours, and with their own comments, and of course that can be monetized with ads, and basically you're doing the same thing like Google.
So think about it like this: and correct me if I'm wrong, Paul. So a place like a casino, they would own, or a stadium, they would own their map, right? Like that's a walled garden, right? Like they would basically create a map, and then the experience you have there would be curated by them, right? But outside of that, in the wild, anybody can create a map, right?
Yeah, anybody can. What I just showed you yesterday was produced in 30 to 45 minutes. And there was no coding involved at all. The content was easily dropped in, but you notice most of it was dropping locations and entering text. But the entire platform that we have, and this is why we think it's a phenomenal opportunity, it is truly a no code. So you don't need to know how to cut code. So Niantic, Matterport, and all these other gaming type environments require a pipeline of developers, creators, etc. Here, if you can build a PowerPoint presentation, you can build a real world metaverse experience. And that's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. There's zero barrier to anybody being able to create content. And then because you can go into anybody's space and use your phone to create a spatial point cloud, in theory, your TikTok, your YouTube, you can be anywhere now. And you can be beaming in and making any kind of content that you want, and then making it available to your audience. Tell them, go here, experience it.
So somebody, let's say an influencer, let's say somebody who's got 1 million followers, whatever it is, they can just do a tour. They can just go in, walk around, Midtown Manhattan, whatever, go and create their own map. And of course, then later on, they can go to the different retailers or whatever and says, hey, do you want to be a sponsor? Then they get listen, this is just an idea. I'm sure there's people who figure out how to monetize.
Jack, it's going to get bananas. You could be a celebrity chef. And you can walk through a grocery store curating exactly what to purchase,
and the brands
can go home, everything.
Oh wow! Everything. And the brands can pay. Like you can have, for example, like I don't know, what? Yeah, any.
So let's be clear. So you have Instagram, which and Facebook. Like Facebook has basically become, I guess it's like families and friends, to like share birthdays or you go on trips or whatever, like that's Facebook. Instagram is kind of a mix of fashion and food, but you know, it's eye candy, lots of pictures, and it's you know, it's that. When you think of TikTok, it's purely entertainment. I mean, that's it, right? It's just entertainment. This is the metaverse platform. This is your metaverse version, spatially mapped, augmented reality version of those platforms where it can be used for entertainment. You certainly can. It could be used for monetizing with, you know, promotion, right? Like advertisements. It could be a utility, like, hey, I'm an office building, and I want, you know, I have like 100 tenants, and I'm always looking to increase my rent. Well, okay, hey, if you use my if you rent in my building, you get wayfinding to your office built into your rent, right? Like, you know, it's free.
And this would be for malls, these massive malls. You know, the malls they need, especially they're very serious. Paul, like what you talk about, the data, the analytics, they go crazy
Yeah.
for this because you know that's their whole big thing is like these major operators, like what is it, Simon, or whatever it is, these mall operators,
Yeah.
and all they care about is the analytics, like because they will kick a store out of the mall if they're not producing a certain amount of revenue, right? They want to know how many
Yeah.
people it's passing, how many. This is something that can go crazy with these
Yeah.
malls
Yeah.
because they really could. This is something that's right up there. How many malls are there in the world? Like,
So Paul,
Well, it's one.
big malls, like
Paul,
you know,
could you give us
Westfield, Simon. You know,
could you give us some insight? I know you were talking to some people in the EU. I know you were talking to
Oh
some,
yeah, no,
yeah,
yeah, I'll share a bunch of them. Yeah,
insight
there's
into the early conversations, you know,
yeah,
just like where people are thinking this can go, you know, that kind of thing.
yeah. So there's a number of them. So sporting venues. I won't disclose who, but there's a number of large sporting venue operators and teams that are, you know, in very, I'll call it deep discussions with us right now. In the
Late
EU
stage,
specific,
are they early stage, late stage, or like in the middle
no, they're
stage?
late stage. No, they're late. Yeah, they're well down the line. And then there's, you know, in the EU, you know, that's fascinating. They've put an entire team together to study these use cases, wayfinding being the principal. And we have 5 active early adopters in that market right now. And the
we're
one
talking
that I
about
like the
like
most,
football, like soccer, you know, whatever they call it there.
no, these guys are typically business operators or government institutions.
Okay.
I'll give you a very good example. One is a healthcare network in Finland, and a large number of hospitals. And you know, these folks have been doing studies on how do we make traffic flow, patient flow, more efficient, because it takes a lot of, believe it or not, time and money away from staff having to ask, you know, answer questions from aggravated patients. And this is a very well-known issue within the plan market, right? The positioning, okay, there's a whole series of technologies that have been put into these healthcare institutions to abate this problem because it's a hard cost within the
Oh yeah,
infrastructure
because
of the
yeah,
hospital.
in other words, if
It's
you
huge.
imagine you have nurses, doctors, you know, patients, you know, people in there, they're approaching anybody they see and say, "Hey, can you
Exactly,
show me
and
what?" And you
they're
know, you got
anxious.
yeah,
You
and
got it.
it's
They're
taking
anxious.
a
They're
couple
anxiety.
minutes here, a couple
Everything.
minutes there, and you know, it
Yeah,
adds up
yeah.
because these people,
Oh,
you
it
know,
adds up
doctors, you know,
hugely,
they're getting
and
paid, you know, a
most.
lot of money, right?
Yeah, and here's the
Nurses.
thing, Jack. When patients show up into these hospitals, they're usually there because they've got a series of tests which require them to go to point A, point B, point C. They're usually across multiple floors, sometimes multiple buildings. And you know, frankly, they're for many reasons, you know, serious issues. They've got a, you know, a looming condition that, you know, they're about to get tested for, or they've got to go and get diagnosed. And so they're aggravated. And having and these countries are very mobile literate. So for them to open up a phone, click, and then have it wayfind you, not a problem. There's zero barrier to people of all ages being able to do that. So the economics here are substantial. There are tens of thousands of dollars that get saved immediately by people being able to wayfind through AR to their destination. And it's not just one. They can go, okay, I've got my diagnostics for my, you know, this lab and this lab and this lab. It's 2 hours that I'm in the hospital. It just makes that moment in time that much easier for them.
Yeah.
And these are documented. They've been studying this now. So they are very, I'll say, interested and awaiting our release in the coming weeks. And they represent just one of many that are in this space. And we've had some just great response from them. And so you'll see them. We'll develop them into case studies and chat about it over the summer here. But that's a very real, very practical, and from both an economic and a qualitative value proposition, they're solid. And more importantly, no code, fully scalable, there's no barrier, repeatable globally, right? And it's just a perfect use case for the technology.
Exactly, exactly. And what I would say is that this is, when you talk, we were talking earlier about scale, to scale 3D models and to be able to have, let's say, 100,000 models per month. So could we sign up 100,000 people? Could you make 100,000 maps in a month? Is that something the platform is capable of?
Today, I would say no. Within 30 days, yes.
Well,
because we're just releasing.
no, I don't mean today. I mean, like,
Yeah.
within once it's released. Yeah, once it's in market, like, is that it has that scale? Could it do like 1 million? Is there any limit? I guess is really what I'm saying.
There's no hard limit. In fact, our goal is to incrementally get us to the point where we feel internally we're at that how do I say this without confusing it? Netflix level of scalability. In other words, global deployment. There's no real concern of where you are in the world coming in at the same time. All of that, those issues have been well thought out. I mean, we've been working on this for quite a while, and that's our anticipation, right? Our end state is that this is one of those, just like everybody uses Google Maps and Apple Maps, this we want to be the exact same thing inside a property.
Right. Inside a property, on a campus, wherever you go, everybody's always looking for directions. But the directions piece is exciting, but it really, again, is just the beginning stage. It's really all these add-ons like the holograms of people, of products, the advertising.
That's what I'm getting at. That's why it's
People so come with their own.
And here's the thing, Jack, and what we're building is a templatized portfolio of products that can be essentially drag and dropped into these spatial maps to make it super easy. That's why, I think Paul refers to this as like the PowerPoint of spatial mapping, right? Where you could, if anyone's ever created a PowerPoint, all the tools are there. You're just kind of point and click, clicking on different pieces of it, right? To create your PowerPoint. And so if you think of it like a spatial PowerPoint experience, that gets you closer to like what this is. And if you think about the metaverse and you think about, again, back to the glasses again,
the glasses would make this thing go because it makes it much easier rather than having to have the phone.
Glasses are coming. The glasses are coming.
But you know what I think? Look, the reality is that this thing has so many uses that we don't even know how far this can go because, there's users who are going to come up with their own ideas, which are far beyond like anything like we're even taught. Like, it's going to be like, YouTube started out as cat videos, right? It was cat videos initially, and then we're doing this. Nobody thought about this, or there's all this other stuff, right? So it's really things have massive upside. Let's get into some audience questions because we got we're running a little late. I just realized we got people. It's lunchtime, right? People might be, or in the East Coast, it's lunchtime at least, right? So we don't want people to leave. So let's get into audience questions. Let's see if we can catch up here. Okay, so okay, let's start from the first ones. Okay, this is I guess for Evan. Lowe's just announced they are doing Metaverse in their stores. Is that with Nextep?
So, we haven't announced that we're doing business with Lowe's yet. So I can't really speak to
that. Which blue chip clients can you discuss?
Well, we have discussed a lot of blue chip clients. We've discussed Crate & Barrel. We delivered 2,500 models to them. We've discussed Kohl's, who have come back multiple times. They just came back again for another reorder of additional 3D models. We've also discussed Kmart Australia. They just revamped their website in Australia, and they have 500 models. They're now talking about 10xing that. So there's an enormous amount of blue chip customers that we're working with. Some we can talk about. We did kind of mention Napa Auto Parts. I think they're blue chip.
Yeah, it's a huge company, $1 billion company.
Yeah, so they're also a happy customer. There's a lot of business that we're now tackling, and so but I see the Amazon question. So Amazon is outsourcing. So they are outsourcing their 3D models, and so they're definitely working with people outside of their business, let's say.
Okay. Is Nextec's API simple enough to allow easy connectivity to your AR solutions?
I think that means to the map to ARway.
No problem.
Yeah. So Paul, can you tackle that?
Yeah, short answer is yes. So and what's good about it is that, and we'll have versions of this, in the coming weeks to present, but you can easily tie into our ARitize 3D Studio and pull down 3D objects. In fact, some of the video that you saw with Hannah walking around, the chair and that gentleman that was there, were all done in the studio, and they're easily brought in and placed. And more to the point, we can actually see who looked at it, how long they looked at it. We can add a hotspot if they want to buy it. Quite a bit of stuff that we can do within that experience natively within the call it the Nextec stack.
I think it's an important question because imagine Kohl's has, let's call it 5,000 3D models with us. Those 3D models can be brought into their store as part of the ARway wayfinding inside their store. They literally can just put, whatever 3D models they want in the aisles. As someone's going to the bathroom, they could have a hologram of one of their spokespersons models standing there wearing some clothing or a couch or whatever. I mean, all of this is going to tie together.
Can you imagine how big this could be? This Maps product, like for example, I was just in a Home Depot like this weekend, right? I was looking for, it's a huge store. Like it's impossible, and people are, you're not gonna get that much help. And I think if you have this thing, you can get, it's gonna guide you to where the thing is. But meanwhile, as you're passing, because it has all this data, you can sell all sorts of sponsors ads will bombard you with saying, hey, oh, you're buying, I don't know, plumbing. Oh, you need this. So how about this would help you?
Jack, that's the perfect use case to that market that I was trying to illustrate. So you go into Home Depot, they basically can for free try this, right? Take your location that you went into. They can place pins for plumbing, for outdoor, for gardening, yada, yada, right? Costs nothing, super easy. They put no infrastructure into the store to do this, right? Then you walk in, you whip out the app. In this case, it could be their app, could be ours, or it could be a white label. They could make up their own. And then basically they just enter plumbing. Comes up, just like you saw with Hannah there, it gives you exactly how far, how many steps, which aisle, and you get chevrons to wayfind you all the way there. And then, so that's just abated the whole travel issue right there. Costs nothing, no CapEx, nothing, right, to do that. Then we turn it into a profit center because not only can you walk, but as you're going by there, you could have curated experiences. You could have somebody ask you what they want. You could have promotions come up against product that they want to move off the shelf. There's all sorts of ways.
It's really, you're really like right at that intersection of like retail, the next generation of retail and everything.
We think it's going to be very, it's going to be very fundamental.
It's really going to have a massive impact on kind of this convergence of retail, the metaverse, online. It's all going to be this one thing. And you're right at that epicenter, which is, I think, a massive, it's a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. There's no question.
The thing about it, Jack, which is so potent, is that it's really the combination of all of our tech which really creates the value. Like, it's nice to have all these templates, yes, but there's an enormous amount of value when a retailer says, okay, we want, our 3D models in this experience. And it could be, a customer, an existing customer where we just, press a button and all the 3D models magically populate. Or it could be a new customer and we have the capability in-house. We are the 3D model factory to make
Yeah.
these 3D models on demand. So it's the combination of the two pieces of tech. I mean, a spatial map is great, the wayfinding is great, but when you populate it, Paul, isn't that really where the value creation really begins?
100%. 100%. And that's why we'll completely disrupt, right? So, remember, wayfinding is a cost for not most, all properties and even brands paying to get you to that location. Now we make that frictionless, but that's just the start. Now you can add through augmented reality and all these spatial experiences, all the value. And, all of a sudden you've got click-throughs, you've got brand activations, you've got product demonstrations,
Is this
and of
gonna
course
make?
purchasing.
Are you gonna make tour guides obsolete? Because tour guides basically their whole business is they give you the
Well,
information,
Jack,
but then
to
they
your
get
point,
kickbacks from all the stores. They
yeah,
say, "Oh, hey, check out this. This is the best
No, no,
restaurant."
think about it. No. So they're going to be our customers.
They're actually right
right,
because they're gonna make their own tours. You
Yes,
sign
right.
for
No, those
yes.
influencers you talked about
yeah.
are going to completely magnify their audience because
Kim
they're going
Kardashian.
to walk
Yeah,
on site, make the tour,
yeah.
and then their audience will follow their tour in
Right.
that property.
They won't be selling. So think about it. They won't
Right.
be.
Think of these
They'll be true
travel influencers.
influencers.
This is the
Yeah,
big thing on Instagram. Yeah,
they won't be selling. So here's the difference. Right now, a tour guide is an hourly guy,
yeah.
right? Like, hey, how many hours can I book? How many tours can I book? Okay. There's a limit to how much he can make. The value prop here is once he digitizes or ARtizes, right? He creates this wayfinding touring experience where he turns himself into a hologram and he's at these geolocation points along this map that he's created. Now all he does every day is sell his map to as many people as possible, right? He pays us a subscription and he's basically selling, access to his map. And now he could scale. He couldn't scale before.
You know what
That's
is?
right.
I think the huge. I think what's going to really make this move big time is, the big thing in social media is like you have all these like hot girls who are, they're like these travel influencers. They go to these exotic places and then they do video and then I don't know they get kickbacks from they get basically a free trip because I think they make a deal with hotel. It's an epidemic right now of these travel influencers. Can you imagine once they have this? This is like the perfect thing for them because now they're saying, "Hey, here's my tour of whatever," and however they get paid with whatever that becomes. I mean, and they're pushing the product for you. So
Yeah.
now you're gonna have like a hot girl who's got like 5 million subscribers, saying, "Hey," on Instagram, saying, and they all have like 10 million or whatever. Like I have no subscribers.
Oh,
They have 100 million subscribers.
right.
And say, "Hey, check out my tour of Bali, whatever, or my tour of, I don't know,
Jack, maybe you need
Paris."
maybe you need to turn yourself into a hot girl so you could get
I may have to. This is where
10
the world is going.
the 10 million subscribers, and then Paul and I can amplify our message.
Right.
Listen, whatever it takes for the stock, I'm here to help maximize shareholder value.
But,
So I'm
Jack,
committed
it's a
to
very,
some
very good
extent.
point though, because if you were to try to do what you just described on a Matterport or Niantic, you'd have to have gaming developers, designers, etc. Here, just like the influencer, they know how to use YouTube, they know how to use Instagram. They take a couple of shots, they package it up, and they push it out. There's no coding involved. And this platform, and we know this because of our early adopters, the experiences are perishable. In other words, they're really only useful for a certain period of time. So they're always rebuilding and reusing it.
This is
That's the
evergreen.
beauty of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Paul, you can use this as a white label platform
Yep.
and
Yep.
or
Totally.
SDK, right? So
Yep. Yep. It's a full-on platform. It has an app. It has a studio, a web studio for massive development, and then an SDK, so you can create an end-to-end pipeline.
Really, I think what's going to, and this is not a joke. I think what's really going to make this like scale and go crazy viral is when you have a couple of these like hot influencer girls, start doing this. It's going to go bananas. Yeah, that's going to
What makes you
become.
think we don't have that already?
I was going to say, there's, I'll leave the hot girl comment out, but the influencer, 100%,
Oh,
100%.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Let's get to some audience. Let's get to some more questions. I hope we can cover everything here. Okay. So, Bart asking, are there any are you planning on getting into partnerships with Meta or Snap?
In the world of spatial, I think it'll be inevitable. Something will happen along those lines. What's interesting is, and again, just within our own network, the partnership discussions that are coming at us are substantial. They're very significant. They're not with Meta nor with Snap, but I sense, given the people we are talking to, that that will eventually occur.
By the way, just so you know, this is interesting because this is like it's just the way the world works. Like on Twitter, there's we have a couple thousand people. There's there are these girls who do trading tips, whatever it is. They have 100,000 followers, right? So I see today there's one of them posting what the hell is it? I forget what, but she's at some like NFT convention in New York right now, and
Sure.
she gets 500 comments. She's like post a picture of herself and it's like, oh, I'm at there's like 500 comments. Or we put up a thing about Nextep, we got 2 comments.
Yeah.
So imagine, and she's like, I never even heard of her. I mean, she's like, so imagine her, if she had your thing at that convention, the NFT convention today, she could be, the star of the show, basically.
Well,
Just
a couple of things, Jack. I mean, the reality is that everybody's going to be using this platform, hot girls or not, doesn't really matter. It's going to be athletes. It's going to be movie stars.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to see all walks.
Imagine your favorite athlete, whatever it is, at the NFL state, whatever. He like this guy does this tour. Hey, this is where my favorite place to get a beer or whatever it is, and here's where the merch is. By the way,
so our experience with the early adopters, at least with Nextech's previous technology, like our AR Ties 3D, if you look at 3D models, the people that have been the early adopters have been big box retailers, right? They've been the ones who adopted early and invest early. So that's Wayfair and IKEA and Target and House and all these big boxes. And so if you think about the people Paul's speaking to, they're all big name companies and entertainment venues and things along those lines that are looking to be the first to market, the early adopters. And we haven't even really talked about, maybe we'll save it for the next, maybe we'll do a full show on NFTs and blockchain and how that lends itself to this platform, because it really is a great fit for ARway as well.
Okay, let's see if we can get we got a bunch more questions coming. Okay, so a bunch of people are asking us, how are you going to be able to handle like a huge influx of orders for the 3D? This is for the next step, the 3D modeling business. Let's say you get the big whale. Can you scale? Can you meet their demand for the 3D models they need?
So I mean, we're positioning right now. We are building that capability right now, as discussed earlier. The CAD to poly technology, which we're building, will allow us to scale. So that we have filed. I see the patent question. We have 5 patents, 5 that have been filed.
How many 3D models can you produce in a month? This goes back to the ability to scale.
Let's put it this way: we flex up and flex down based on demand, right? So we've produced as many as 3,000. But the goal, I mean, again, this is early days. The goal is to get to 10,000 and 20,000 and 100,000 in a month. And to get there requires a significant amount of technology, AI, ML, stuff that we're building right now. So, we can't go I mean, with our existing tech, we could probably push it to maybe 10 to 20,000 in a month, but that would be, let's say, driving a car at 180 miles an hour, right? You're redlining at that point. To be able to get liftoff, where you're like a jet going at Mach 3, you need a jet engine, a completely different technology. It's not a car engine. You need a jet engine. We're building that now. It's not built.
Can you scale? Can you get to 100,000 a month models? Well, actually, no, 100,000. I think he's asking a year. 100,000 models, or how much? Like, how fast? How big can you scale this? The 3D model making.
So again, a lot of it is determined by demand, but we're building our jet engine. It's not quite built yet. Right now, we have the ability to deliver on the demand. Like right now, we're able to deliver on whatever demand that is in the market. But as that demand increases, we want to continue to be able to deliver, and that's going to happen in 2023.
Okay, interesting point. I guess he's saying, okay, because as companies come into the pipeline, with the test, you have all these brands testing right now. You have more and more, and some of those convert into customers. So
exactly.
This is just constantly growing. Question here. How about the share dilution down the road? I guess he's asking, like, will you need to raise capital? So is there going to be dilution?
As of today, we're not raising capital. You never know, in terms of what comes down the pike, but we don't have any plans as of today to raise capital. The goal is, if you look at the spin out of ARway, it's going to be self-funded. And so if we do more spin outs, those companies will be self-funded. We will not have to raise capital because they will be raising capital independent of Nextep. So, that's kind of where we're at right now. We feel good.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay. A question about the AR glasses. I think what the guy's asking is, I think really what he's asking is, how much of a difference will that make once the AR glasses hit the market? Is that gonna?
I think it's 100x, Jack. I think it's one of your 100x's. Like, it's that big.
But literally this, yeah.
What do you think, Paul? Do you think?
For sure. Yeah. No. I mean, I don't want to put too fine a point on this, but Evan's he's completely on. This is going to change everything. The reason for it is, you're not going like this with your phone and doing stuff. You're basically like this, tap your phone, and now everything's there. And in the real world, you've got a mesh between the physical and the digital seamlessly. And like all tech, it'll come out a little bit, at first, and then it'll go woof. And within 2 years, you'll be like, I can't believe we never had this.
I just realized something. I keep using that Home Depot example because
well, that's a perfect example. You put your glasses on and it'll take you right there.
No, but forget about their employees. If their employees have it, then they know exactly where everything is at any given time, where the inventory, because they can get stuff on their, I guess, messages.
Well, Jack,
this is low. Go here.
With our platform today and glasses, because that's what we're shooting for. I think in an earlier you were going, go where the puck's headed. That's where we're headed, right? In that analogy, that use case, it's perfect. The Home Depot associate will be a hologram that will probably sit outside of that building, that will come into your glasses remotely through our platform. You do that right now, beam in and talk to you while you're standing, looking and holding the product. And if you need to, you can tap and the product comes out of the box and materializes. And now you've got a fully assisted sales experience right from the get-go.
Yeah.
No, so things are really cooking. I said, okay, there was a question. I think I can't find it, but there was a question on how many shares is somebody going to get of the spin out? If you own 1,000 Nextep, how many shares?
So we've previously announced that Nextec shareholders are going to get 1.6 million spin-out shares of ARway for free if you own Nextec, which means if you have 1,000 shares of Nextec, you get 16 shares. Every 10,000 shares is, 160 shares. So, my thinking, and that's the minimum, right? It could go up. It's possible that Nextec could issue 2 dividends. We could dividend this first piece, and then at some point in the future, we could do a second dividend. And so there's lots of opportunity for investors to participate in ARway through Nextec or through ARway directly once it starts trading.
Okay, so listen, bottom line, I think the takeaway is this: there is, like really, like this is Nextec. You're doing Web 3.0 right now. I think this is Nextec 3.0, where the new where the company is going right now. It's really it's like you had Nextec 2019, that was like Nextec 1.0. 2020 when we had the acquisitions, that was Nextec 2.0 with and now it's really this is it. This is you got the map spin out happening, value being created, the 3D modeling business is really starting to accelerate. Pure play now, it's a pure play tech company with margins, and that's, I think, the big thing. I think people apparently this is the big thing, is people now realize, okay, pure play tech at the leading edge of the hottest trends. This is going to be the biggest thing. And I think the market is apparently likes what they're hearing. That's why the stock has been climbing. So
yeah, not just the market. So let's be clear, and then we can end it on this: is that our customers are telling us that this is what they want, right? So we could sit around and pat each other on the back all day long, but at the end of the day, the fact that Kohl's keeps coming back for more, Crate and Barrel, Kmart Australia, all these big brands is amazing. And Paul's having that exact same experience. We haven't announced, all the deals that Paul's lining up, but they are lining up. And, so the point is that the customers ultimately dictate whether we're right or wrong with our predictions on the market. And I think it's fair to say, Paul, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you're getting a lot of positive feedback from customers.
Oh yeah, yes.
Okay, guys. On this note, thank you for the update, and thank you everybody for the great questions today. It's apparent there's a lot of investor enthusiasm really starting to bubble up for Nextec. I mean, to me, it feels just like November 2019 when the stock started ramping up. On the way to that mega high. Let's see if lightning strikes twice.
Yeah, it's like
it'll be exciting to watch.
Remember 1999, right? I think right, and now 2019, and now it's 2022.
And the interesting thing is, all those leading edge technologies that everybody thought was hype in the late 90s, all of a sudden it became mainstream. Like the .coms, there were, all of a sudden, a couple of years later, Amazon was on $1, whatever it was, like at the bottom. It was, I don't know how low Amazon got, but it was like, I think it was like $5 or whatever, and then now it's 3,000. All of a sudden, people thought it was going to go out of business. There was a real talk that Amazon would be going out of business.
Well, don't forget, Apple was also
another example.
Apple was going bankrupt. So I mean, and don't forget Tesla was going bankrupt.
Yeah,
and don't forget General Motors. I mean,
but the tech companies, it's interesting. All the hottest companies, Amazon, Tesla, Amazon, Tesla, Apple. I mean, Apple was left for dead. I mean, I think the stock was like $1.
I think the key. What's the common denominator? And then again, we got to end this.
This is it. They're the big technology company.
The common denominator is transformational technology, was trying to be brought to market and developed. Amazon transformed online shopping, right? They start out with books, and now you buy, your underwear there, right? And when you look at Apple, they started out with, I remember it was like a niche platform just for graphic designers, right? And now everyone has an iPhone in their pocket. It's like become ubiquitous. And what was the third one?
We talk Amazon,
Tesla.
Tesla.
Tesla was basically going to go out of business. Nobody thought that they could crack the code. Everybody was saying, like, there's no way that this upstart is going to beat out General Motors and Ford. Like, there's no way on earth that that's going to happen. And there was a huge short position, meaning billions. Yeah. And guess what happened? Now, I'm not saying the same thing's going to happen here, but you know, history does rhyme.
It's but it really is very similar. All these tech companies, leading edge stuff, and all of a sudden it becomes a reality. And
yeah, so that's it. All right, Jack.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
See you
guys.
the next one.
Thanks, everybody. Talk soon.
Yeah.